as now you are familiar with HTML input types. So in this lesson, let we see the attributes that can be used with input. So if you are new here, you should check the other two videos before watching this one. So let we get started. We have seen before three essential attributes: type, which specifies the type of the input, name and value for the server side. So the first attribute we have here is read only. So what does this attribute do? When we try to type something in the input field, you can't remove the value and also you can't type anything. Just you can click it and make a surround border like this. It's autofocus and we will see this. Then we have disabled. Disabled, it's the same or quite similar to read only, but the difference is here we can't even click the input, not like read only. Read only we can click the input. So disabled, you can use it as a hint to show the user that he should insert a certain data inside this input field. Then we have size. Specify the size for the input field. So in this input we have size 2. What if we change it to be 4? So the input field got a little bit bigger. If we make it 10, so that's a benefit from size. Then we have max length. Specify the max allowed length for the input. According to this input, we just have 10 characters to be inserted. So let we insert more than 10. We can't insert more than 10, just 10 characters. If we make it just one character to notice the difference, so just allow to insert one character. Then we have autocomplete. It has two values, off and on. So for the email input, the autocomplete is off, and for the search input, the autocomplete is on. So let me see the difference. When autocomplete is on, the browser automatically complete the input value. But let me fix this first. So this is on. So let me see the difference now. Now if I click on the input field, I can't see any suggestions. So I have to write the email, the whole email. For example, like this. But for the search input, so once we click on the input, there are suggestions showing up like this. That's autocomplete. So we can make it easy for the user and use autocomplete on. Then we have autofocus. So autofocus, when we reload the page, the input field automatically get focus, the only one that is ready to type something, and the browser automatically focus on this input field. Then we have form target. This attribute used with submit button. It will just open the PHP page if we have PHP page in another tab. So here we have form tag blank, and we have seen this and explained it in the link lesson. So if we submit, let me just fix all those. I will explain this later. So if we submit now, the PHP page will open in another tab. But if we remove here the attribute and see what will happen, so now the PHP page open in the same tab. Then we have minimum and maximum. So minimum and maximum specify the minimum and the maximum values for the input. So for example, we have here a date input. So the minimum date that the user should select is between 2018 and 2019. So here is the date, and if we select the years, it will be just 2019 and 2018. If we change this to be 2010, So we can select between 2019 and 2010. Then we have an attribute called multiple. Multiple specify that the user allowed to insert more than one value. Here we have a file input, so we can select more than one file from our PC. For example, I can select this and this and this, 3 files. But if we don't have this attribute, I can just select one file. Then we have pattern, and we have seen this before with telephone, but here it is with text. So let me allow the user just to insert uppercase letters. So here we just allow the user to select uppercase letters and insert 5 characters. So if he inserted more than 5 or less than 5, let me try. So for example, I give here a value for the pattern, just uppercase letters allowed. So if we submit, please match the requested format, because this is more than 5 characters and also not uppercase letters. So it will be like this: A, B, C, D, E, for example. And let me submit, but I have to type this because it's required, and we will explain this after a while. So let me submit. So now it can be submitted. Let me now move to the next attribute, which is placeholder. So placeholder is like a hint for the user to inform him that this input is for email or for password or username. So the input here is a text, and it will be for first name. So there will be a muted text inside the input field, and when we start typing, it will be removed like this. Then we have required attribute. Specify that the input field must be filled out. So if we remove this and try to submit, please fill out this field. So I have to type something. Nice. So this attribute, you will use it a lot. Imagine if you make a sign up form or login form for your website. So you have to use it to force the user to input his email or password, for sure. And finally, we have step attribute. Specify the intervals for the input field, and just works with inputs that like the number type, date, week, month. All this contain numbers. So we have here a type time. So if we try to change the time, so for the seconds, we can change it one by one, and for the minutes too, and according to the hours, if we try to change it, it will change 3 by 3. So if we submit now, it will be submitted without any problem. But if we type here 10, please enter a valid value. The two nearest valid values are between 9 and 12 for the hours. So we have to make it between 9 and 12. That's the nearest valid value. And also for the number here, it will change 5 by 5 like this. So those are the most of attributes that can use with input. Most of them is important and you will use it much, like autocomplete, autofocus, pattern, and so on. And some of them you will use it in small cases, like read only or disabled. And that's all is according to your project. So practice all of them, and if there is an issue or there is something you don't understand well, so don't hesitate to ask me. So good luck with that, and see you next time.